Hey everyone, today on my channel, we're doing another installment of my series called Bundle Builds. I think the name is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, if you log on to Origin, you can purchase a bundle, which is an expansion pack, a game pack, and a stuff pack, all at the same time and save a little bit of money. I thought this would be an interesting way to kind of explore what you get for your money when you purchase a bundle, and also see which packs work well together. So yeah, today we're doing another bundle build, and this bundle build is featuring The Sims 4 Seasons, Parenthood, and Laundry Day. And every once in a while, I let myself use a sneaky little kit, and today we are using the Little Campers kit for obvious reasons. Now this build is a lakeside cabin. It's a family home. I almost never make family homes. A lot of times I'm creating either community lots or homes that are for like couples. So I figured let's do some family content, and also let's appreciate some of the more cozy aspects of this time of year and create a cuddly little cabin that sits on top of a lake. So we're kind of already starting to see the basic structure here. Let me talk about kind of the inspiration for this build. So first off, I was inspired by an image that I found of an actual cabin in real life that had this like really almost like a wing, but essentially a room that was jutting off of the side of it, and it was all glass. So it was like a really kind of like modern cabin, but it had this like totally glass room that was attached to it. I wanted to create something like that, but I wanted mine to feel a little bit more rustic and a little bit more, kind of like family oriented and warm. So what I was thinking as I was working on this build is that this is a cabin that's been in the family for a very long time, and it's passed down from couple to couple, family to family. And this couple has now inherited this home and decided to, upgrade it from its roots a little bit, still kind of like honoring the space that was, but also expanding and making room for their growing family. And they've almost kind of turned this into a project where over time and throughout their lives together, they are just kind of continuously updating this space to accommodate more people in the family and just a more modern kind of sensibility. So the left side of the build definitely has a more kind of like rustic feeling to it. And as we get inside and start sort of furnishing the rooms, you'll also see that one side of the build is more so a collection of like multi-purpose spaces. And then the newer side of the build, which is on the right-hand side, is very contemporary and modern and kind of what you would expect in like a luxury cabin. But yeah, I really kind of like the juxtaposition between both of these sides, and they, in the end, I think end up feeling like one cohesive space. But I really wanted this to feel like a lifetime project. Like this is something that this couple enjoys doing together, and as much as I wanted this space to feel really warm and inviting and welcoming for families, I also wanted it to feel, realistic and very like grounded in the purpose of a cabin in the middle of the woods. I wanted it to be kind of utilitarian and sort of a little wobbly in places. So we can see from the exterior of the building that I really wanted to keep as true to the kind of original vibe of what this cabin may have looked like as I could. So we have this thick wood paneling, and we have really weathered wood on the porch all over the place on both decks, the upper and lower deck. And I also wanted it to seem like, even though they did extend this house outward and off of the main deck and over the lake, I still wanted it to feel like they were making use of the materials that were originally there. And so we have this big cutout in the center that is, just this really beautiful glass cube. But then even the additional room there on all the way over to the right-hand side is using the same timber that the rest of the cabin did. So I really like the idea that they kind of disassembled the cabin just to reassemble it to sort of maintain the original look and feel. But again, upgrade it and modernize it for their family today. And so one other thing I will note too that I'm just noticing now, I made like a weird choice with this initially when I was building it, because I didn't think that the stilt foundations were available in base game. I don't know why I thought that they only came with Island Living, but what I did to remedy that initially was I started building on the second floor, and then I lowered the second floor all the way down and just put pillars underneath and inside the lake to make it seem like there were stilts under the building. Anyway, I realized much later in the build that there are stilts available in base game, and I move all of the rooms down and correct this, so everything is as it should be. Anyway, now we're working on some landscaping. Now I'm creating this in Henford and Bagley from the Cottage Living expansion pack. But again, we're using the Seasons expansion pack for this build. So I was looking for the trees that we see in kind of the landscape around the buildable area, and I ended up finding them, but they don't have any seasonal states. I would probably recommend, if you have Cottage Living, just switching out those trees for the ones that are in the Cottage Living debug menu. Then you will have the seasonal states associated with them, and it will also create kind of a more seamless landscape from the buildable area into the non-buildable area. Yeah, I really wanted this to feel like it is in the middle of the woods, so we're doing a lot of landscaping on the lot with plenty of big trees and foliage kind of around them. And we're going to do a little bit of terrain painting as well in a second too, just to make sure everything is nice and blended into the environment. Because there are so many windows in this build, I wanted to make sure the area around it was nice enough to look at. So yeah, we're doing our best here to create something that feels really kind of dense and lush, but also playable and walkable. So this is definitely the first time that I'm making a video about a family home specifically. And I still feel like it's kind of a cop-out because you'll see later on that we only have space for one actual bedroom. It just has 3 beds in it, which I will justify later. But yeah, this is the only family home I've made a video for. But yeah, this is like the first opportunity that I had to like really use the little campers kit. And it is so sweet. I know I'm late. I know it's come out a while ago, but it's such a sweet kit. We know that there is some kind of expansion pack or some kind of pack coming up with babies. And it really makes me hopeful for the way that we're going to see different objects for kids and babies. And they also do like a really nice job with the color palettes as well. For this kit specifically, I just feel like it can be used in so many different environments, and it doesn't feel like it's just this like super bright object that's standing out. Yeah, really, really sweet kit. I was so happy to actually be able to use the objects in this build. So now we're finally getting into the interior and we're working on the kitchen. So the kitchen is on the sort of older side of the build, but it does have updated cabinetry. So we can start to get a feel for what the interior is going to look like on this side of the build, where we have the same wood paneling on the walls that we have on the exterior. We have the same sort of like old floorboards on the floor as well. And we even have some rock on the wall there too, some nice stonework. And, this area is definitely meant to feel really rustic. And I wanted it to feel like a nice warm hug when you walked in there and feel familiar, maybe to different cabins that you have been to in your lifetime, should you have had the opportunity to visit one or the interest. But yeah, but like I said, this is also, a project for this couple to upgrade over time. And so I thought, if I were moving into a cabin and I wanted to update it, what is one of the first spaces that I would go to do that? And obviously, kitchens and bathrooms are a huge priority for anybody that's doing renovations. So I thought adding in some new cabinetry would be a great way for them to get started on, their journey of renovating this space. And then now we're working on the living and dining room kind of simultaneously. So this is the sort of new wing of the house. And you can see the materials are a little bit different. I think they still really work well with the original materials of the building, but they're just a little bit shinier, a little bit more updated, a little bit cleaner. So we have some really nice wood flooring on the ground. It has like a nice polish to it. And so the center room there, the glass room, is just a dining room. We just have one big dining table in there. I did include a little toddler high chair as well. For me, this house is kind of like a sort of like weekend escape for this family, or like every once in a while they'll come spend a week here during the summer or the winter. And then in the living room, I didn't really want to include a lot of technology in this build. So there's no computer and there's technically no TV either. But I did end up using this projection, this makeshift projector from the little campers kit. Whereas a TV may not be necessary, I love the idea that if they ever want to watch a movie together, they could just prop up this sheet and, like flank it with some board games and things to sort of make do and kind of all sit around and watch a good movie. Yeah, I love that object from the Little Campers kit. It really created the exact feeling that I wanted for the living room space. And then you may have also noticed that I did have a Christmas tree up. So originally, this build, I wanted it to be set in like snowy winter. That was the idea, is that this was going to be like a cozy winter cabin. And so I also wanted to have a couple of holiday decorations up. Two things though. First thing is that when I made it snow, which we'll actually see in a little bit, oh, actually it's snowing now. When I made it snow, it covered up the glass. It covered up the glass roof, which kind of like defeated the purpose of the architecture in the game. So I ended up ultimately not setting it in wintertime, but it does look beautiful when it's snowing. It didn't really show off the build the best. And then the second thing was that I haven't really done too much holiday gameplay in The Sims 4. And so when I was going through all of the Christmas decorations, they were really a lot of them were really gaudy. I will say that. A lot of them were really gaudy. And that's nice. I just don't know if that's the vibe for this space. Plus, again, because this is more of like a weekend home type of situation, I really didn't think it would make sense for this to be fully decked out for Christmas. So instead, we have a nice tree up for the family to decorate together, and then a few other little things sitting around. But the holiday decor is very light, and if you're not into that, very easy to remove as well. One thing that I noticed while I was working on the living room is that the comfort items that we got with Seasons and Parenthood and even Laundry Day are like weirdly stylized. It's like the designer had a unique perspective, but it wasn't necessarily cute. I really liked the couch that I ended up pulling out in that kind of like mauvey purple color, but I couldn't find a chair that didn't look just like super stylized or like kind of, they all sort of look like unreal, which is strange because I feel like of the packs that we have, Seasons and Parenthood and Laundry Day are all like working class. They're all like, this is for your cute little family of 4. So we end up using, I believe it's the couches from Seasons, but both of the chairs in the living room are from base game. And then I also used one of the little seating objects from the Little Campers kit as well, because it has a nice little blanket draped over it, which made this feel really like lived in and nice. Now we're just kind of going around and we're adding little odds and ends all around the first floor. Oh my gosh, one thing that I felt was so specific to like this type of home was the bar. I don't know. I mean, I feel like in the 60s and 70s, it was like the thing to do to have a bar in your house. And so I really wanted to make sure to include a bar on the first floor here because it really like, set this in a specific time period for me and also made it really feel like part of this house is old and was here for a while. In the entrance room, we have a half bath, which we're not going to see actually at all in this video because it's very simple. There's like nothing to it. There's a half bath there. And then I also ended up including sort of like tucked in the corner under the stairs, a laundry machine and some different storage objects. And yeah, it's really just kind of like a mud room, sort of like a multi-purpose catch-all room, which goes back to what I was saying earlier, which is how I really like the idea of this space being very utilitarian in certain aspects. And and then we also in that room have the staircase up to the second floor. Speaking of the second floor, for a while in this build, I got really obsessed with the idea of having a hot tub on the roof because first off, wow, views. Second off, one of my like favorite childhood memories is being in a hot tub with my family while it was snowing outside. It was super magical and such a weird kind of like sensation. So I loved that idea, and I even so much so like I added the ladder in and I created a small room for the ladder on the second floor just to make sure there was like legitimate roof access. But then I thought to myself, how the hell is that hot tub getting up there? Plus, I didn't like that the hot tub had a big sort of awning on it. It just kind of looks silly to me. So if you do download this and you do want to have a hot tub on your roof because you don't care about realism, I would recommend using one from, I think there's one with Perfect Patio. Is that where we got the hot tub? Those are nice. They're the same height as the railing too. I even tried placing that down just to see what it would look like. So you could drop that in there. But ultimately, I end up just leaving the access there and putting up some nice lounge chairs on the roof. So now we are working on the bedroom. And like I said, this is a family home because there are 3 beds, but it is 1 bedroom. So ultimately, we will have a double bed up here, a toddler bed, and a kid's bed. I think that I could have very easily made this 2 separate rooms up here. And so the kids could have had 1 room and the parents could have had 1 room. But I really love the idea of sticking with the original in quotes, the original architecture that I had in mind for this build. And again, just making yet another multi-purpose space. And I also just really love the idea of the family, after watching a movie on their like makeshift projector downstairs, walking upstairs together and all kind of like slowly drifting to sleep. So I ended up keeping this as 1 big open room upstairs. In my mind, this was originally an attic, but you can see we have the original wood paneling. We have some grody carpet up there. All very easy things to change if you want this to be a little more glam. But one of my favorite things about the upstairs is that the kids' bed is up against a floor-to-ceiling window in the back of the room, and that looks out to a skylight. And I love how that came out. It's a really cool view, and I just really was imagining being a kid, falling asleep in that bed, just staring up at the stars all night. So magical. But yeah, this is where we have our second bathroom. The second bathroom is a full bath, so there's a bathtub shower up there. We got the toddler's bed, the kid's bed, and the parents' stuff. And this space is really just kind of like odds and ends, just like collected furniture that vaguely works well together. But the idea is that any overflow furniture that they have comes to this house, or maybe some of this furniture was inherited with the house when it was gifted to them. So this is it. Wow. Really cute. I'm so happy with this. This looks like a really real place to me, more so than a lot of the stuff I've been working on recently. This feels like this place could actually exist and I want to rent it. But here we are. Here's the final exterior of our cozy lakeside cabin. So really quickly, we'll just do kind of a little tour of the space so you can see what it will look like in gameplay. You can see here we have our lounge chairs up there on the roof instead of the hot tub. And then here's just a really sweet tent that came with a little camper's kit. I love, 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 love that object. And then another thing I always forget is that we have a floor tile that matches a roof tile, a roof pattern. And so on the roof, I ended up using that combo of objects, and it really just kind of extends the roof onto the ground. It makes it really feel like you're standing on the roof of the place. So now we're going to go inside, and you can see immediately to the right we have our half bath, and to the left we have the staircase upstairs, a laundry. We have our seasonal decoration out there as well. Here's our little kitchen. I did ultimately end up putting some tile on the ground there and changing out the color of the cabinetry, but here's our little kitchen area. We got some little crayon and creative objects out for the kids as well. Here's our bar super quickly. And then here is the primary living space with the big sort of open concept living, dining, eating area. I'm really happy with how this area came out overall. I think it just looks so cozy, so welcoming. And in fact, when I was playing this, there were literally 6 Sims. While I was doing this tour, there were 6 Sims that came over my house and they just walked in. And I couldn't figure out why or how. I have right here, I'm going to cut it. You're not going to see it, but right here, this man walked in a bath towel. And I said, "Sir, what?" I had no idea. I ended up having to stop filming and get everybody out of the house and restart everything. I have no idea why they got in. So I ended up making this have a private dwelling lot trait because what the hell? I have no idea. There's literally 6 Sims came to visit. We were at lot capacity. Well, I guess that's family capacity, not lot capacity. But anyway, there were 8 Sims in my house in total. I was like, where did y'all come from? Anyway, I just skipped over the entire tour, but here's the bathroom. And here's maybe my favorite spot in the house, that kid's bed that looks up into the skylight. And then, yeah, we're just going to do some quick stuff here as I wrap up so you can see the overall building, what it would look like when you're actually playing. And we'll also check out some layouts of the first and second floor too, although this is really simple, so I'm sure you could have guessed that. So that is it. What do y'all think? I love this space. And that is my cozy lakeside family cabin. I think that's the name of this video. I don't know. But yeah, what do y'all think? I would love to know what y'all think of this place. I'm really happy with how it came out. I would love to spend a weekend or a week or 2 weeks or the rest of my life here. I need a little getaway myself. Life is very weird right now, y'all. This build is now available on the Sims 4 Gallery if you would like to download it and add it into your game. As a reminder, you only need the Sims 4 Seasons, Parenthood, Little Campers, and the Sims 4 Seasons, Parenthood, Laundry Day, and the Little Campers kit. And I'm sure as you noticed, if you don't have the Little Campers kit, it's really not detrimental to this build. It will look just fine if you are not a fan of kits and don't purchase kits. If you would like to download this, my name on the Sims 4 Gallery is the same as it is here, which is just Patrick Creates. If you like this video, I would encourage you to like the video. First off, I would appreciate that. That's very nice of you. And YouTube would also appreciate that. So thank you. If you'd like to see more videos like this, I would also encourage you to subscribe. I upload videos every week and it's really chill here. We just kind of hang out for 20 minutes, check out a build that I worked on recently for too many hours and talk about it. So yeah. I would love to know what you think. Please feel free to leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. And otherwise, I think that's all I have for today. So until next time, y'all.